to quit your job in 3 years and never regret. Listen, by the way, if right now I start taking statistics and ask you how many here hate their jobs, believe you not, over 90% of people will tell you, I hate my job. But you still show up every day. Why? Because you have to pay your bills, isn't it? So now, today I'm going to show you, on this particular video, I'm going to show you how to actually quit your job in 3 years and never regret. Have you ever seen of people quitting their job and then regret? This is how people usually do. Okay? Now, here you are. You're in a job, you're employed. Then what happens? You start or you quit the job. You quit the job. Then guess what? You start a business. And once you start a business, things go south as far as the business is concerned. Guess what happens now? You go back to your job. Or before you even go back to your job, the regret window comes here. So now today I'm going to show you a strategy to quit your job in 3 years' time and never regret. Good. Now, by the way, let me tell you one secret. The magnitude that you need to quit your job differs from one person to the other. Obviously, if you're watching this video and you earn a good kind of money and you're employed, it will also require you to have a little bit somewhere, or you need to have a little bit of higher effort compared to somebody who is earning less. Okay, number 2. Anyway, this is Good Joseph. Before I write anything on this particular board, I just want to say thank you for you always coming back and watching my videos. Go ahead and hit that like button. If you are new here, you've never watched my videos before, it's your first time, here we do something called subscribe. It's actually free, doesn't cost you anything. Hit that subscription button so you'll be notified whenever I upload a new good video. Let's get on the business now. Here we are. Now, here we have the first year. This is how I would love to display it. Okay. Here we have the first year. Here we have the second year. And obviously here we have the third year. This is what we call the quit year. All right. Now, here you are standing, and let's say, for example, for you to determine what you need for you to quit your job, first you have to identify how much you make from your job. Let's say, for example, this is a gentleman earning 40,000 in a month. I say 40,000 in terms of Kenyan shilling. This is like equivalent of $350 in a month. Okay, that is like an average salary in Kenya or something like that, or 40,000-ish there. Now, this is a gentleman earning that amount of money. By the way, this is an entry salary of a teacher in Kenya. So they're earning that and they're thinking about quitting their job. The only time you can quit your job, for example, if you earn this amount of money, do you know what that means? It means in your lifestyle, you are living a life which can actually be funded by 40,000, and not only be funded by 40,000, but also you are leaving something behind for you to save. Let's say, for example, out of the 40,000, you are able to live under 30,000, then the 10K, you channel it towards an investment for the sake of your future. Now, what you do, first thing, before you even start thinking about quitting your job, stop even thinking about quitting your job. Think about how much you earn. The moment you know how much you earn, therefore, the only healthy time to quit your job is when you have something giving you an equivalent of this. If you have another source of income giving you 40,000, it means you can decide tomorrow morning to quit your job. But if you do not have that money, guess now what you do? What you do is you go ahead and figure out, how then do I come up with something that will give me an equivalent of this, therefore you'll be comfortable to quit. There are 2 ways on how you can approach this. First, there is what we call the first vehicle, and second, we have the slower one. Are we together? The slower one. And the funny thing is that the slower one here, it is like the most secured. I'm avoiding to say it's 100% assured, but I would say it's the most secured one. Now, there are 2 people here. You are employed. You can decide to earn this 40,000 using the first vehicle. And I know most of you be like, hey, I would like to go with the first vehicle one. Okay, fine. Let us figure out the first one. So what you do, you first ask yourself, where you are employed, what do you do? You find somebody is employed somewhere. Let's say you are what can I say? These people, you go to hotel, they are good at baking. I don't know what they are called. Or maybe let's say you're employed somewhere where you're selling clothing, or maybe you're employed in a hardware, or maybe let's say what do you do where you are employed? What do you do? Are we together? First of all, I tell people, sometimes don't think even outside the box. First of all, find out what you can exhaust or what you can tap within the box. What do you do right now? Okay, you are employed somewhere, let's say in a supermarket. So you know all the nitty-gritties, the supplies, the nini, the whatever, everything. You know everything about the supply. So you kinda run your own mini supermarket. By the way, if I may frame it that way, so you're employed in a supermarket, so know the suppliers, you already have some contact with the people who supply a certain detergent, you know some people, you understand. First of all, think within where you are right now. You are employed, maybe let's say you are employed on supplying breads, maybe you are employed somewhere in a hardware, you are employed somewhere in a clothing industry, you are employed in a hotel industry, you are employed. Think first from where you are, then ask yourself, because this is an area that I understand, this is an area that I know, this is an area that I have an expertise on, then what can I bring forth out of this industry? Fine, let's use an example of somebody who is employed somewhere, say in a supermarket, for instance. Okay, fine, you ask yourself, fine. So I already know everything about this. Then I may not have the cash to start a whole supermarket, but I have the understanding and the know-how on these supply chains and whatever. Now, what do? You decide to ask yourself, the first whole year, the first 365 days, this is what we call the learning phase. The learning phase. The learning phase, this is where now, if you decide to start a small business somewhere, if you want to start like a small business somewhere, then you ask yourself how much that will cost. Say that will cost you, say, 100,000. Then you ask yourself, zoom into the salary that you have. You're earning 40K. You can be able to surrender 10. Surrender 10, how long do you then need for you to actually accumulate 100K for you to start somewhere? You need, let's say, 10 months. In that matter, you need like 10 months. That's why I say the first 365 days or the first whole year, you are doing two things. You are learning, now we're together, and you are gathering data and information. What first thing you do is to start saving your 10,000 continuously, or you are saving towards a purpose. And I don't want you to save this money. I want you to invest this money. Are we together? So you start investing this 10K. Why? You are aiming at around, say, 100K or even more. Let's say you are even aiming at around 200K for the purposes of you starting a small business of similar stature, but of a small one somewhere else, because you have information about that. Now, you start that particular venture. You don't start it here. You learn the first whole year. You look for the location, you look for the suppliers, the distributors, the competitors, you gather information, you gather yourself the data, you substantiate why you're starting that particular business. Remember, as much as you're doing that, you've saved your first 120K, assuming you remain committed to your 10,000 per month. And obviously, this money has already earned you interest. Let's not even consider the interest. Now, you join into the next year. The next year, this is where now you start becoming more practical. The first year, this is where now you start now, what we call, it's more than learning now. You start doing what we call the actual groundwork, so that by the time we are closing, or by the time you're starting the third year here, the first day of Jan here, of whichever the year it will be, therefore you do what? You have yourself 120 plus 120, you have yourself like 240,000 that you have saved. You do the groundbreaking, so that you have another whole 12 months of you being in a business. You spend all the time here doing the business, and you can even decide that at the beginning of this year, you can get into the business with that 120,000 in terms of the business, and you run it across. Whatever you have saved from the 10K you're saving, you pump in that cash into that business that you started, so that you can grow it. It gives you the time to do what? To understand your business. Or there are people who will save this year, and the next year, from here they start the business, then they take another whole year before they quit the job to now concentrate on the business. Either way you approach it. But for me, I will start immediately after the 1 year. I start the business with what I have, as I think about how I can grow it and gather more information and keep on pumping in the cash that I'm gathering here. And of course, I'm gaining experience. Why? Because I want to have at least an experience of 2 years to my business. The first year here and the second year here. So you actually start that particular venture. By the time now you hit the third year here, where now you contemplate about quitting, you're not quitting to start a business. No, you are quitting to run the business that is already existing. By the time now you're finishing these 2 years, you already know the nitty-gritties. You already know some of the things that you need to do up there. Because if you do not, let's say for example, you find somebody saving the first year, the second year, the third year. Now here you want to quit your business, let's say your job with around say 400K. You want to start something, you want to explore. You know one thing, this salary that you're getting every month, it is actually sustaining yourself. The money that you're getting from the business is not the money that you're eating, it's not the money that you're doing. You're just either plowing back or setting aside, depending on how the business is. The year one, the year two. By the time you're quitting, you may not have the 400,000, but you have a business that is running, that is generating you the income. And what you can do, you can even decide from the day you start the second year of your business, you start now saving a little. For example, you can start saving another 10K here, equivalent of that for the entire year. That means means you'll end up with around 120,000. Guess what? By the time now you quit your business, you have 120,000 set aside. And remember, you survive on 30,000. If you survive on 30,000 and you have 120,000, that means you have 4 months without you touching anything from the business immediately after you getting in, so that at least you do what? You give it time to grow itself. And that is exactly how you plan to quit from the business. Sometimes I tell people, we go to school to study some courses and careers, not necessarily for us to be employed, of which there's nothing wrong with it, but to ultimately become not job seekers, but the job creators, and you can generate something out of it. I'll give you a very simple example of somebody who was employed by an Indian to supply the glasses. You know, these glasses that usually make the windows and what have you. So the guy knew everything about it. So he knew the manufacturers, he knew where they can get those glasses. He know all the logistics of that particular business. And then he opened himself a certain store somewhere. And then what he did, some of the orders, you know, the guy was on the ground, he was given a car. You know, when I say, sort of like a truck or something like that. I still remember that it was like, what do you call this? A Mazda, is it a Bongo or Bingo or something like that? So the guy used to supply those glasses to different places. So what he did, he identified an opportunity. He said, you know what? I will actually function as a customer to my job. And then he said he got a new client, and the new client was him. So he could actually supply 2 or 3 I forgot the sheets, we call them the sheets, the entire thing, to his particular business. So he could supply 2 sheets, 3 sheets, 4 sheets, depends on how much he has on that particular thing. And then that guy would actually also, as much as he's looking for the clients for the business or for where he has been employed, he would also look for the customers for his small business and things like that. Okay, the funny thing is that the moment your boss realized that now you have a business, you no longer become an employee, you are a competitor. So he was fired, that's for a fact. Anyway, for him, he didn't have what we call a quite of a good quit, but he tried as best as he can to make sure that he was sustaining his business. He was doing that for the next like 3 years or 4 years, something like that. So we had a meeting. This is how I knew it. We had a meeting. He told me, Joseph, I was fired last week, but I have a business running. How do I pick myself from here, and what have you? So that is an example that you can use to actually quit your business or quit your job in a period of 3 years in a very systematic way, and you actually do not even regret. Why? Because you have some few years in that business of yours, so you already know where you're quitting, and you know where your business works and where it doesn't work, rather than quitting and starting a business that you don't even know in the first place. That will be a disaster. That will be a problem. Now we go to the next vehicle. Now on this vehicle, by the way, have you ever heard of somebody saying we start a business to quit a job, not quit a job to start a business? You got it. Now, the second vehicle here, now it's the slower vehicle. This is the one that I tell people, hey, if you want 40 Gs in a month, it means that you need to invest an equivalent of like 4 million. That means you need to figure out the money that you have. Is it able to actually accumulate the savings that you can? Is it able to accumulate to reach that particular amount of money for it to earn you the passive income? Might take a little bit of time, but the fact remains that is the slowest vehicle and actually takes a little bit of time. This is why we speak about the language of stocks, we speak the language of investment, such as the whatever I usually talk about here on the investment. So it depends. You want to go the first vehicle way or the second vehicle? If you ask me, if you want to quit your job as fast as you can, and the fastest way to beat poverty in anyone's life is usually the first vehicle on how you can be able to do this. By the way, I've talked about the commodities here. It doesn't have to be the commodity or the goods that you're selling. It can be a skill. Maybe you're employed as a HR. If you're employed as a HR, how do you think you can be able to start yourself a consultancy about the HR services? Think about that. Think about what you can trade. For God's sake, we all have something that we can trade. We have something that we can trade. That's what you are trained for. That you can trade that particular thing. Sometimes you find somebody, you're seated there, you are employed in a clothing business. You know everything about the clothing business. There you are figuring out, what business can I start? Why are you even switching off from that what you already know? Stick to that what you already know. For example, if you are in a butchery business or you sell meat, you tend to have a lot of people who sell meat in your contact. Those are a lot of people, either suppliers, either distributors, either customers or something like that. So the moment you quit from, say, meat business, you go to the clothing business, it's totally a strange area where you are in. You start by now making friends and all that. First, start with that what you understand. Once you start with that what you understand, then you can make a business out of it. And that's why nowadays I see a lot of doctors who are trained, and now they're on the social media. They are talking about medicine. They're talking about the lifestyle diseases. How can you be able to prevent them? No. You talk about the services. You're not advertising yourself because I heard the doctors and the lawyers. You're not supposed to advertise your business, but there is a way you can package yourself as an individual. You're more of informing and educating people, and in that manner, that is how you'll get the clients. That's how you'll get the people. Because my people, let me tell you one secret. We are in the era of attention. Attention is the new currency. If you cannot manage to make some cash out of the attention that you're getting from the social media, then I'm so sorry for you. This might be the hardest nut to crack as far as the money is concerned. This is good, Joseph. Well, of course, if you need my services, that's my number. Shoot me a call or a text. No, shoot me a text on my WhatsApp. Let's talk business. For now, it's a goodbye and see you next time.